Hello, one and all. Welcome back to another new AI-only campaign. It's been a while since you've heard my voice, hasn't it? Yes. I am your host, as always, Virinity Void, and this here is not Campaign 13. No, this is Campaign 14. Dubious Claims. Indeed, a new campaign has dawned upon this shattered world of sorts, and we will be going into it very shortly. But before we actually get started and I press play up here, we have to go through the submissions, of course. This is indeed the prologue. So, we're going to be going through the submissions. Their first two national ideas, if there is localization. If there is no localization, we go through the first three national ideas, the modifiers that are in them, and we generally see what the neighboring situation is like for them. Without further ado, we're going to get started. I believe I have all of the submissions labeled out in my Excel sheet, so I will be referencing that as we go along. Just a little note, though. There is one stand-in nation, that is Later Zhou. They have the Mandate of Heaven, but on November 12th or November 13th, after the start of the game, I will delete them. I will do remove country and remove them because the Mandate of Heaven usually gives some nice economic buffs that last beyond the start date to whoever gets it. When the game starts, the Mandate of Heaven is automatically removed, and any bonuses are usually removed, but there are some lingering economic factors that still help out once the Mandate is gone. So the Later Zhou have that Mandate of Heaven. They will be removed, and any bonuses associated with the Mandate will be removed as well. Other than that, let's get started. First three submissions are my own, and they are right here in China. The first one being Dubious. I'll turn down the music just a little bit, and we will get started. So the traditions of Dubious are Army Tradition plus 0.5 and Ship Durability plus 10%. And the first national idea is the Golden Crossbows of Kamos. The dedicated crossbows of Kamos have served our state well and have evolved to become a central part of military formations. They focus not on a superior offense or defense, but rather attempt to balance out both sides of the military spectrum, whilst laying waste to our foes through calculated, precise, and widespread attacks. Land fire damage plus 10%. The second national idea is the Militant Sword. The blade that helped propel our state into prominence. This tried and true blade has seen plenty of armories, regiments, and military uses before coming into the humble service of those loyal to Dubious. As such, using it and replicating it for the likes of our military gives us a pride and prestige, since we are utilizing a weapon of status instead of simple steel or iron blades that can be churned out in any old forge. Yearly prestige plus 1. So Dubious is here in China, and they are surrounded, don't count the Later Zhou, they're not going to be here. They are surrounded by a few neighbors, but not too many. There's not too many neighbors here, but it should still be a nice brawl between these four. The next submission is Louis de Gare, and the traditions of Louis de Gare are yearly army tradition plus 0.5 and foreign spy defense plus 20%. The first national idea of Louis de Gare is Shadow Cavalry of Dubious. The feared cavalry commanded by Dubious are clad in dark-colored armor and wield intimidating melee weaponry. When they thunder across the field of battle and smash into the ranks of our enemies, there are few that can hold their ground still. Even some of our own allies fear what might happen if Dubious were to rebel against us, but for now at least his shadow cavalry are content with our leadership. Cavalry combat ability plus 15%. The second national idea is the Assassin's Sword. Crafted during the rise of Luis Dagar and wielded by certain undercover sectors of the realm, the Assassin's Sword is seen as both a tool of offense and defense. To defend Luis Dagar from deals gone wrong, so that our own undercover diplomats and envoys do not perish, and to perpetuate the influence of Luis Dagar by taking out crucial members of foreign governments or rival families. It is a blade drenched in blood, of course, but the blood that flows from it is never innocent. Spy network construction plus 20%. So Luis Dagar has the same general layout of Loibuk, just their western neighbor of Sareg Yogir, may present some issues later on. The third and final submission from yours truly is here, Ryshock. The traditions of Ryshock are yearly army tradition plus 0.5 and unjustified demands minus 20%. The first national idea is Blaze Warlocks of Shuyatis. Mystical in his studies and knowledgeable in his methods, Shuyatis and his educated followers form the strategic sector of the Ryshock military. Not everyone is quite sure that their efforts to manipulate fire and the rays of the sun are effective in battle, but both commanders and soldiers alike attest to the effective nature of Shuyatis' spells and rituals. Land fire damage plus 10%. And the second national idea of Ryshock is high-quality spears. Few can boast the quality of spears that we of Ryshock produce, such as the famed Heart Thrust and Green Devil. Though only a set amount of these are produced each year due to the intensive and careful construction techniques, each finished product is sold for high prices both inside and outside of Ryshock, making our spear markets especially lucrative in terms of making money. Caravan power plus 30%. So Ryshock definitely has, of course, the similar situation. The only real difference is that, like Loibuk in the south, there's a lot of open space. Ryshock has a lot of open space in the north. There's not really anyone here until you reach the Oirat, or you reach one of our newcomers' submissions. Or, if you really want to venture further north, the Siberians. Anyways, with that being said, I'm going to take a drink of my stuff, and we'll go over to the next submissions. Indeed, the battle for Dream Island again is here. And here we have Coiny. I'm going to take a sip of my drinks, and we'll see what's what over here. I'm not sure what this national idea was supposed to be, but it's not reading correctly. I might try to get that sorted between parts. We'll see. Oh man, I've never really tried pomegranate before in terms of drinks until recently. It's not that bad. Oh, it's got an interesting flavor to it. Anyways, over here in Coiny, the traditions of Coiny are national tax modifier plus 15% and land leader shock plus 1. The first national idea is Woe Bunch Co-Captain. He is more of a leader and a strategist, coming up with ideas to help his team and Pin. For example, he convinced her to switch teams and use his teammates' abilities to benefit them in certain challenges. Initially, Coiny is somewhat callous and unfriendly. In No More Snow, he is unconcerned by the prospect of Spongy, Needle, and even Pin being dead forever, since it increases his chances of winning. He also forces several contestants to switch to his team by threatening them. Military tactics plus 0.25. The second national idea of Coiny is Portal to Money. If Nickel was too close to Coiny, not only to If nickel was too close to coiny, not only a black vortex will appear in the middle of them, but also the vortex will blast coins and dollars up into the air. This happened in the long-lost Yael City, I don't know how the hell to pronounce that, where Pin pushed nickel into him, causing them to create a money-blasting portal. Goods produced 0.83. Ow, my god, I hit my knee on my desk. Ow. Ow. God damn it. Anyways, that's coiny. They're in Cornwall. Oh man. Next up we have book. Right here. Oh, I forgot to. We'll just do that right now. They are supposed to be feudal, and they're the traditions. You're gonna hear a little bit of my microphone moving. I'm just moving it a little bit. Okay. So I don't have to reach over when I'm speaking, and I have to because my monitor's kind of big, and so my microphone is a little bit further away, so I don't want to have to lean over so much when I'm reading these, and thus kind of distort the text from my point of view. Anyways, the traditions of book are recover army morale speed plus 10% and institution spread plus 15%. The first national idea is voice of reason. Book is nice, polite, and caring toward most contestants. She doesn't seem to like rule breaking as seen in Get Digging. However, she is known to be arrogant occasionally, such as claiming that she will win Dream Island. Excuse me. There are various times where Book is passive and is not able to speak up, either for herself or for others, making her a pushover. An example of this is seen in No More Snow, when she considered going back to get tennis ball, golf ball, and Rocky, only for Match and Pencil to laugh at her. Book would also tend to be the voice of reason among the free smarters. Diplomatic reputation plus 2. The second national idea is many in one. Book is many books at once. She's a dictionary, a journal, a hand-powered recovery... What? A hand-powered recovery center creator, user manual, a guidebook for IDFB, a Yael City Atlas, an inclusion handbook, a history textbook, a research journal, an aquatic sports textbook, a geography textbook, a taxonomy textbook, a catalog, a cookbook, a marketing guide, a balancing guidebook, a grammar textbook, a chemistry textbook, a fashion magazine, a map of Goiki, a legal lexicon, and Leafy's diary. Innovativeness gain plus 50%, possible policies plus 1. And I'll give a summary of their positioning after I'm done reading all of these, because I've never seen Battle for Dream Island again. That should just be a given. I've never seen it. I should watch a couple episodes just to understand what it's about, but I've never watched it. The next submission from the BFDIA, I thought they were feudal, is tennis ball. Okay, the traditions of tennis ball are idea cost minus 10% and shock damage minus 12.5%. The first national idea of tennis ball is cautious but budding. Tennis ball is portrayed as cautious and responsible, preferring to avoid chaos and sticking to plans. He often tries to avoid chaos and dislikes disruptions, but he also struggles with self-doubt, particularly when he compares himself to golf ball, as seen in Catch These Hands. He craves validation for his inventing abilities and is deeply affected by criticism. This is in stark contrast to his typically calm and quiet personality, showing that he is insecure about how people feel about him and his inventions compared to someone like Golf Ball. Construction costs minus 10%. The second national idea is viciousness to win. Starting from Airplanes in the Night Sky, tennis ball becomes increasingly ruthless. When the moment doesn't matter to the game, Tennis Ball usually still maintains his friendly and awkward personality in the later season, and is often shown to be reluctant to commit his ruthless acts. However, by I'm the main character, Tennis Ball tries to break his contract with Needle and brutally kill her with Pin's drill head without showing any reluctance after he realizes that Needle's use of the contract could cause her to win, causing Book to declare him the villain. Tennis Ball seems to be motivated purely by a desire to win, whatever it takes. This desire to win is implied to be, in turn, motivated by his aforementioned insecurity, as he believes that he is seen as inferior to Golf Ball. A discipline plus 5%. And the final of the BFDIA contestants is Needle. The traditions of Needle are Diplomats plus 1 and Infantry Combat Ability plus 12.5%. The first national idea of Needle is seeking a validation. Needle's competitive nature shapes how she faces challenges and interacts with others. She wants to prove her worth to her team, as seen when she sacrifices Coiny to join Free Smart, or sings a lullaby to help her duo win. However, she often feels overlooked and seeks validation, especially within Free Smart. In Spore Day, for example, she tries to help the dehydrated caterpillar, but Pencil steps in and insists on handling it herself, emphasizing her role as a full Free Smarter. Diplomatic reputation plus 1. The second national idea is determination and independence. Despite wanting to fit in, Needle values independence. She makes bold choices to assert control, like teaming with Fries in Start the Shift, instead of letting herself be swayed by the opinions of the others. She's determined, but needs to feel recognized and respected for her efforts. Then, in Airplanes in the Night Sky, we see that Needle is done trying to fit in, and is ready to play for herself, and she is determined, and in it to win it on her own. Morale of Armies plus 15%. Alright, so that's the BFDIA submissions. And they all hold very, very valuable land right here on the English Channel trade node. So they're going to be very, very profitable. They're going to be very, very powerful too. It is only a matter of time from the start of the game, start of the campaign, that, we're going to see a lot of action. Firstly, between like Coiny and Needle, because they will border each other very quickly. But I also suspect Book and Tennis Ball, they're going to be going to war really quickly after the game start too. The next two submissions from the Cyan Menace, as he was formerly known as, are Paradox 1 and Paradox 2. And I don't believe there's localization for these, so we're just going to read them off. The traditions of Paradox 1 are Governing Capacity plus 20% and Max Hostile Attrition plus 3. The first national idea is Attrition for Enemies plus 2. The second national idea is Fort Defense plus 40%. And the third national idea is that they cannot build over their force limit. And then simultaneously, in Paradox 2, the traditions of Paradox 2 are Goods Produced plus 15%, Possible Winged Hussars plus 10, and they can also recruit Winged Hussars, but are they even Polish? No, they are not Polish, so I don't know how that's going to work. Anyways, the first national idea is that they cannot build over their force limit. The second national idea is they get Goods Produced plus 1.5, and the third national idea is Institution Spread plus 20%. So it is going to be kind of interesting to see who wins out here. Paradox 2 goes in. If Paradox 2 wins battles and tries to siege down Paradox 1, that attrition is going to be very killer. If Paradox 1 goes against Paradox 2, it's going to be kind of hard because maybe there will be Winged Hussars at some point. I'm not sure. So I guess we'll see when the game starts. Is there anything else for Cyan Menace? I don't believe so. So we will move on to Mackie's submissions. Mackie has gone back to Siberia. And the first submission here is Yugra. Alright. So Yugra over here is, for the traditions, has National Unrest -2 and Infantry Combat Ability plus 15%. The first national idea is Golden Lady of the Olbians. The Golden Lady of the Olbians is a legendary idol of our people, worshipped as the most important idol in Yugra. Tolerance of the True Faith plus 2. The second national idea is Trading Far and Wide. The Ugrins had made trade with many countries far and wide since the earliest times, and from Bulgar merchants traveled to the land of heathens called Wisu. Marvelous beaver skins come from there, and they take their wedge-shaped unpolished swords made in Azerbaijan in their turn. But the inhabitants of Visu take these swords to the land that lies near the darkness by the White Sea, and they trade for swords for sable skins. And there, people take swords and cast them into the Black Sea. But Allah and the Almighty sends them a fish which... I'm sorry, I got confused. Sends them a fish which size is like a mountain, and they sail out to the fish in their ships and carve its flesh for months on end. Trade range plus 20%, caravan power plus 10%. It's going to be a while before Yugra really meets anyone, but they should have a nice economic base, plus 15% base tax, or global tax modifier. And I don't really think they should have any problems with unrest, so we'll see what happens. The next submission from Mackie is Evenkia. The traditions of Evenkia are minus 25% land attrition and goods produced modifier plus 10%. The first national idea is ecological ethic. We spend most of our lives in very close contact with nature. Because of this, we know the best way to ensure prosperity for our people is by being responsible to nature and its spirit masters, as they would reward our people if we do so. Production efficiency plus 17.5%. The second national idea is Bows of Steel. Due to our harsh landscape, we often relied on hunting wild animals to survive. Because of this, our people are very skilled with using steel bows, so much so that our best warriors can intercept an enemy arrow with their own. Land fire damage plus 20%. So, Evenkia has some very powerful military stuff in store if they get to their sixth national idea. I should also mention, as we move over to Saka, in comparison to the previous campaigns, we are not using Doge's idea groups and all that. These are indeed vanilla idea groups, or well, after they pick the first military one, because Zorm AI is enabled. The first idea group of all nations apparently is aimed at military, but as you can see here, it is all vanilla idea groups. There are no custom ones like conscription ideas or anything like that. So, yeah. Now we have Saka's national ideas. The traditions of Saka is, are, cavalry combat ability plus 20%, and goods produced flat plus 0.25. The first national idea of Saka is Kigilyaks. These stone pillars have been an important feature in our culture, standing out from the otherwise smooth mountains whilst originating from people more ancient. Yearly prestige plus 1. The second national idea is displacement and assimilation. People have lived along the Lena River before us. However, as we sail down the Lena with our livestock and goods, we have found the ability to displace and assimilate the prior inhabitants into Saka culture. Settler chance plus 10%, and culture conversion costs minus 10%. So, as time goes on, Saka should be able to colonize faster and faster, and maybe even spread out their culture more and more. I guess we'll see when the time comes. And I don't believe Mackie submitted in the New World, so we're going to go on to the next submissions by ViriV. The first one being over here in Europe. It's called Pillage Rush. Let me take a sip of my drink, because, you know, talking for over 20 minutes straight is a little tiring. But I do this all for the love of the campaign, damn it. Oh shit. My drink almost tipped over. Anyways, the traditions of Pillage Rush is that they may raid coasts. However, not of the same religion, but still, they may raid coasts. And the available loot in any province that they're going against is plus 45%. The first national idea is objective. To win the game, one must be the first to collect 3 treasure boxes back to their longship. Keep in mind that they are spread throughout the map, but tend to be clustered on the far end. Looting speed plus 40%. A second national idea is mechanic, movement. Players move up and down the board after rolling a die and moving that many spaces. However, for each treasure box you hold, 1 is taken away from movement dice roll. Land leader maneuver plus 1. From what I was told too about like these upcoming submissions from ViriV, these are like game idea or in-house game ideas that they came up with a while back, and these are they've been manifested into custom nations, which is pretty cool. I never thought of doing something like that for like an original board game or whatever. Next, after Pillage Rush, we have Merchants and Traders 3.0. The traditions of Merchants and Traders, or I'm probably going to be calling them M&T, just because that's the initials essentially. Trade range plus 40% and caravan power plus 30%. The first national idea is objective. Accumulate 100 gold and complete 10 trade missions to win the game. Trade efficiency plus 20%. And the second national idea is mechanic, headquarters. Each player selects a starting city to place their merchant. This city becomes the player's headquarters for the rest of the game, where players can deploy new merchants for 20 times the number of merchants in terms of gold. Merchants plus 1. I can very much tell if M&T pops off against like the Timurids and Bruchal, there's going to be a lot of money to be made here, just in general. Lots of money. And because we're using the vanilla map, we're not using Doge's Shattered Europa like last time. The goods produced is also relegated to what is in vanilla. So, you know, you got your iron over here, and you got, I think this is wool? Yeah, wool, salt, paper, and cotton. There's nothing like beeswax, cheese, or fruits. There's nothing like that in here, because it's all vanilla, or mostly vanilla, you know. The next one is Warring States. The traditions of Warring States is infantry combat ability plus 15% and defense plus 10%. The first national idea is objective. Own more than 60% of all regions on the board to win the game. Province war score cost minus 25%. The second national idea is Phase 1, drafting. Players take turns selecting regions they want to own at the start of the game, one by one, until the map is entirely full. Whoever goes last in region drafting goes first in Phase 2, and vice versa. By the end, every player owns the same number of regions. Core creation cost minus 15%. You know, honestly, just reading that out kind of sounds like when you're setting up a Risk game. I have played Risk before a couple times. That kind of sounds like Risk, if you're just like doing an impromptu game or whatever. But warring states, they have powerful national ideas. I'm just wondering if they are going to be able to make an alliance with any of my submissions. I have no idea. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I guess we'll see. And then the last submission from VDV is in the New World, and it is called Tioto. Yes, right over here. The traditions of Tioto are morale damage plus 15%, and the clergy, I'm not going to try to pronounce that right now because I got to get through this, and I have Kraven's submissions to go through, so that's going to be rough for me. But the clergy loyalty equilibrium plus 15%. The first national idea is objective. Be the last player standing. Players get eliminated from the game when they run out of favor. Fort defense plus 15%. The second national idea is mechanic, favor. Each player starts with 5 favor. Every turn, 1 favor is lost with an extra plus 1 favor loss per turn per player out of the game. Favors can be gained by sacrifices, 1 per sacrifice, and ceremonies. Roll d6 and get that much favor. Stability costs modifier minus 15%. Tioto doesn't really have much to worry about in terms of their neighbors. There's a lot of empty room between them and Colima and Cocomes and also the United States of Caddo. So Tioto things should be pretty quiet around here for a little bit at least, for a little bit. Anyways, from VDV's submissions to Akamatsu's submissions. The first one being Listenborg. It's right over here. Apparently it's a meme in a different server or a different mod, but we're going to go through them. The tradition... actually, I don't think there's localization. There is not. Okay. So the traditions of Listenborg are yearly prestige plus 1 and shock damage received minus 15%. The tradition, or the first national idea, is fort defense plus 20%. The second national idea is, production efficiency plus 20%. And the third national idea is stability cost modifier minus 15%. So, Listenborg is pretty powerful, just in general. Those national ideas are going to make the early game very, very nice for Listenborg. But I'm not too sure how they will fare against like Fontaine or Ragotsha. And I'm probably mispronouncing that, but you know. Other than that, Akamatsu has also been apparently diving into schizophrenic Hearts of Iron 4 mods like The Fire Rises, which is what these next two submissions come from. Oh dear God. I don't know, man. Because we have over here the American People's Liberation Army, and we have Patriot Front. Should be noted before I start reading these, I do not endorse anything within the American People's Liberation Army, and I do not endorse anything within the Patriot Front. I did not submit these. I had to cut out a lot of Akamatsu's submissions because The Fire Rises is about very modern American politics. So, just let it be known, I don't endorse any of this. All right? I was on the verge of not letting any of these submissions in, but I did not want to have Akamatsu's everything that he did, because he did right out the localization. I didn't want him to all of that to go to waste, because it is a lot of writing. It's a lot of work doing a modded submission. So, anyways, let's get into it. The traditions of Patriot Front are infantry combat ability plus 15% and expand infrastructure cost modifier minus 25%. The first national idea is Second Continental Army. The time has finally come. The America under the control of the Reds and Globalists have fallen, and the second revolution will start where the first began, New England. Adopting the aesthetics and visuals of the first revolutionaries, the Patriot Front is ready to fight a grueling war to reclaim America no matter the cost. Morale of armies plus 20%. The second national idea is Vanguard. America is poisoned. The liberal establishment fights tooth and nail to rip up traditions long entrenched in our history. Even conservatives pander to corporate interests and hyper-consumerism while claiming to want to preserve American traditions. The beginning of the Second Civil War has given us a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Like our forefathers in 1776, we will take up arms to tear down the tyrants and despots. Under the command of Thomas Rousseau, our army shall march from sea to shining sea. Liberals, conservatives, communists, all shall be crushed under our might. Under our banner, America shall rise again, free from the shackles of the establishment and elite. Province war score cost minus 15%. Dear God. And it should be noted that also Patriot Front as well as the APLA, they are slated to switch to Protestantism once Protestantism spawns in about 1515. Now, the American People's Liberation Army, their traditions are idea cost minus 10% and all the states influence modifier minus 10%. The tradition, or the first national idea, is leftist unity. I'm cutting my throat. We push through. The left, though united in purpose against the forces of the bourgeois, have often traded blows with one another in a tradition almost as old as leftism itself. As it stands, however, the United Front has largely remained intact, viewing the defeat of those who would see them all destroyed as the more pressing issue for the time being. Of course, this unity is shaky at best, with hefty disagreements and arguing between factional camps remaining ever so common amidst the revolution, but it seems to be more or less kept under control, at least for now. Stability cost modifier minus 7.5%, national manpower modifier plus 10%. The second national idea is centralize the parties. With the revolution finally upon us, the squabbling parties of the American People's Liberation Army must finally be centralized into one unified revolutionary force. For too long, the left has been plagued with factionalism and infighting, caused by differences in the theoretical approaches to revolution. Yet, each one of the parties recognize that alone. Yet each one of the parties recognizes that alone they are weak and will quickly be crushed by the reactionaries. Thus, a new cabinet must be formed. The Iraq War veterans Mike Preisner at its head, and having cabinet members from all parties in order to finally see the Red Star shine over the United States. Monthly reform progress +1. There is that, the APLA. Let's see. Did Akamatsu submit any others? He did not. So now, I might be able to get through all of this in one video. The next submissions are from... I scrolled too far. Q9626, with the first one being I think it's Virui? I'm not sure, but this is a meme submission, as you might be able to tell from that flag. Yes, this is a controversial. Where's my hair tie? Oh, there it is. This is a controversial submission in terms of the person. One of the people being shipped in this is doesn't want it to happen, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what really happens in those DMs, you know? In the traditions of Virui, cavalry cost modifier, cavalry cost minus 10%, and diplomatic relations +1. The first national idea is Virivian luck. Fury V's luck is some of the worst luck ever. Whenever dice are involved in a game, you know Fury is going to roll horribly and lose. It has come to the point where Virivian luck is used as an insult, describing luck that is unfathomably bad. Global Defender dice roll bonus and Global Attack dice roll bonus -1. And the second national idea is hyperfeminism, no matter the timeline. I don't really know how to pronounce that name, but I'll try. Zui Rui is an avid player of nation roleplay, but no matter the timeline, she has one goal: to create the gayest, most matriarchal society possible, whether it be Lesbos conquering Greece or falsely claiming the Indus Valley civilization was gay. Nothing can escape her ingayification. Female advisor chance plus 50% and may recruit female generals. So, yeah. This is going to be a very interesting submission for the Balkans. That first national idea is going to really fuck up any sort of expansion opportunities, any wars, because dice rolls are just so important in general that if you're getting a -1 to attacking and defending, it's brutal. It is very brutal. The next submission is the Wendish Realm. And these are not localized, so the traditions of the Wendish Realm are construction time, -20%, and yearly army tradition +1. First national idea is tolerance of the true faith +3. Second national idea is infantry cost -20%, and the third national idea is yearly legitimacy +1. And then, just as a quick word on where they're at, they're gonna go to war really quickly with the Obodrites, and maybe even the Teutonic Order when push comes to shove. But I mean, the Wendish Realm is Catholic, therefore maybe they ally with the Teutonic Order. I'm not entirely sure. But next submission is Donauland. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name. All that reminds me of is Donut Land from Super Mario World, so I like it. Anyways, the traditions of Donauland is discipline +5% and institution spread +30%. The first national idea is construction cost -10%. The second national idea is tolerance of the true faith +1. And the third national idea is military technology costs -10%. So they will be, as time goes on at least, they should be just fine on military technology and competing with everyone around them. But they might be able to spiral out of control if they get a good war early against Rhaetia. The next submission is the Union of... I can't remember how to pronounce this, if I was ever told. The Union of Cheshiami? I'm not entirely sure. But wow, this is bright. I'm not gonna curse you with that flashbang. The traditions of the Union. I don't know. Until I get told how to pronounce that, I'm just gonna say the Union. Is advisor costs -20% and reduce inflation costs -10%. The first national idea of the Union is tolerance of the true faith +3. The second national idea is discipline +5%. And the third national idea is fort defense +20%. And their religion is Hussite. So they got some good stuff going for them. That shock damage received -5% should be very beneficial to the Union. And I don't believe there's any more submissions from Q9626. So we will move on to Sekan's submissions. The first of Sekan's submissions is Ionia. And these are not localized, so let's get going. The traditions of Ionia are global settler increase plus 20 and idea cost minus 10%. The first national idea is fort maintenance on a border with rival minus 40%. The second national idea is development cost minus 10%. And the third national idea is tech cost in general minus 10%, which is really fucking nice. Overall, Ionia should be expanding pretty quickly, but they will likely go to war early on with Lemnos right here. And maybe even Epirus or Pontus. Depends. The second submission from Sekan is indeed Pontus. The national ideas indeed are not localized, so the traditions of Pontus are national unrest minus 1.5 and goods produced modifier plus 15%. The first national idea is fort defense plus 15%. The second national idea is naval force limit plus 22.5%. And the third national idea is morale of armies plus 15%. So Pontus is geared up and ready to go from early on. Any wars against Pontus are going to be pretty tough, and they already have a fort over here. I think that's because this is the province of Trebizond, and Trebizond inherently, I think, has a fortress there. So, should be pretty good to defend this land from invaders. The third submission from Sekan is over here in the south. It's called Kaideria. I'm not sure what the backstory for Kaideria is, but the Kaideriot ideas are as follows. Possible advisor plus 1 and fire damage received minus 15%. It's going to scale very well. The first national idea is own territory dice roll bonus plus 1. The second national idea is may recruit female generals. And the third national idea is colonists plus 1. So economically, Kaideria is pretty middle of the road. That extra colonist, though, should let them colonize more of South America pretty easily. And they are totemist indeed, so the ruler personalities are not going to be anything. We will see if the AI uses the ancestor system. If they don't use the ancestor, I might have to do something about that. Because it's like not using a religious mechanic like that. It's at least use it once, you know, but I might ask the people who submitted with totemis as their religion if they want to do something with it later on. But aside from that, aside from Kaideria, Sekan's final submission is right here, and it is called Further Etruria. The traditions of Further Etruria are tolerance of heathens plus 2 and institution spread plus 20%. The first national idea is global possible number of buildings plus 1. The second national idea is prestige decay minus 1%. And the third national idea is colonists plus 1. So they will be going to war very early on against the Patriot Front. Only time will tell what happens between these two rivals. I'm very curious to see how that shakes out. Moving on from Sekan's submissions, I'm going to take a sip of my water, and then we will go on to Red Panda's first submission, that is Rhaetia. I really should have put some ice in that drink. Now it's room temperature. Anyways, the traditions of Rhaetia are as follows. Production efficiency plus 15% and goods produced modifier plus 10%. The first national idea is max hostile attrition plus 2. The second national idea is movement speed plus 10%. And the third national idea is power projection from insults plus 100%. And I know the AI with Zorm AI does use insults every now and then, so It'll be interesting to see what happens with little Retia right here. The second submission from Panda is called Lemnos, and it's right here by Ionia. The traditions of Lemnos are: may recruit female generals and blockade impact on siege +2. That's not a national idea you see that often. The first national idea is blockade efficiency +20%. The second national idea is cultural conversion costs -10%. And the third national idea is yearly corruption -0.1 or 0.10, however you want to phrase it. But Lemnos, they're a little lacking on development, but we shall see what happens when they go to war with Ionia. Should be noted that Lemnos is Orthodox, Ionia is animist, so there's no chance they become friends at all. The last submission by Red Panda is Bruchal. Bruchal over here with traditions as follows: chance of a new heir +25%, and average monarch lifespan +50%. The first national idea is fort defense +10%. The second national idea is caravan power +20%. And the third national idea is garrison size +10%. So it's going to be a little bit harder to invade Bruchal, but their rulers should live a long time, and especially if they have really good rulers, it's going to be... they're going to have that like 565 or 646 for a really long time. Next, moving on from Panda, Red Panda, we are going to do Kravens' submissions, our famous Epirot, what's it called? Epirot World Builder. Oh god, my throat is just so dry after speaking for 50 plus minutes straight. And I do think we'll just go through all of the submissions in this one part. It's going to be over an hour long, but you're telling me you don't like these long prologues? How dare you? Alright. Ragoetsha. The traditions of Ragoetsha are production efficiency +10% and morale damage +10%. Oh no, what happened to the... Something went wrong with the titles of them. Oh, okay. Well, you know, I will draw... I want to open up Visual Studio Code, but... Actually, you know what? I totally forgot. I can just look it up inside the thread here. Hold on. I want to get the title correct, so let me get this right here. Okay, I don't know what went wrong, but at least the rest of the description is there. So the title for the first national idea. Well, actually, I don't know if I went over the traditions. The traditions of Ragoetsha are production efficiency +10% and morale damage +10%. The first national idea is Men of the Mountains. The Ragoetshans are known worldwide for their martial prowess in rough terrain and for their relentless ferocity. Many come to the Ragoetshan Mountains seeking the favor of at least one of the tribes, the Nelters, to Aelcorksers, to Avernans, and everything in between. Yearly army tradition +1. The second national idea is annihilation of the lower tribe. I just want to hold on. I want to make sure I'm getting this correct. Yes, okay. Annihilation of the lower tribe. The Ragoetshan people traditionally were split into 3 tribes, containing multitudes of clans each. Originally, these tribes were the Highland Ragoetshans, the Lowland Ragoetshans, and the Forest Ragoetshans. Since time immemorial, have the Highland and Lowland tribes quarreled, with the Forest Men choosing to keep out of the conflict. But after the withdrawal of the Takran Empire from Ragoetia, and the exhaustion of the lowlands from years of war and turmoil, the Highlanders soon descended en masse onto the lowlands, destroying their armies and slaughtering their clans, integrating what was left of their to their own. With the main tribes of the Ragoetians now merged and the Forest Men made subjects, the Ragoetian Confederacy at last stands united. Core creation cost minus 10%, years of separatism minus 5. So the Ragoetia they have powerful national ideas, as Kravitz tends to do with all of his submissions, which, just saying. They will have to fare against a powerful Lissenborg. And it should be noted, Ragoetia as well as Kraumna are Coptic. They are not Catholic, so they may be a little religiously isolated. Speaking of Kraumna, let us go forth. What happened? Oh, is there... I guess for some reason the titles got messed up for Kraumna as well. But that will not stop me. I have the files here in Discord. So the traditions of Kraumna are naval force limit plus 25% and global defender dice roll bonus plus 1. The first national idea of Kraumna is Empire Eternal. Excuse me. The Kraumnan state is all that remains of the first Okraudian Empire, having survived the calamity which all thought had ended it, albeit exiled and significantly reduced. Prestige decay minus 5%. I need to check the limit on that one. I don't know if I made a limit for prestige decay, because that's just inherently just like, they will constantly gain prestige. The second national idea is Fortress Kraumna. When it comes to the matter of defenses, none are as good or go as in-depth as the Kraumnans do in their planning. For Kraumna is a limited land, and each inch lost is a heavy blow to the beleaguered spirits of the erstwhile empire. Fort defense plus 25%, garrison size plus 25%. So I think Ragoetia is probably going to have an easier time building up power just because they are landlocked. They are forced to expand inland more so, versus Kraumna, they inherently are coastal, and they will want to expand, like maybe to Sardinia, Corsica, maybe even to Genoa, maybe even spread out to North Africa and the Balearic Islands. That temptation of like coastal centers of trade is very powerful even for Zorm AI, so we'll see how these two twins do. The next submission, let me bring up my Excel sheet, is from a returning submitter, Duck. Duck has submitted to us Fontaine, not Fontaine Futuristics, that is Bioshock. The traditions of Fontaine are National Unrest minus 1 and Tech Costs minus 10%. Oh, I was wondering, like, what was I hearing? No, it's nothing. The first national idea of Fontaine is grandiose architecture. Fontainian people pride themselves in the grand palaces and aqua rails. Let's keep it like this. Construction cost minus 15%. The second national idea is unofficial operations. Navia's work can often catch suspects before the authorities get to them. Maybe we should hire her, or at least ask her to cooperate in a more official manner. Spy network construction plus 20%. And then Fontaine will be Fontaine should probably dominate like Western France, the coast here. But they will have to contend with Lissenborg, of course, and also Book. They are all Catholic, though, so alliances could shift around very, very quickly. The next submission from Duck is Mondstadt. I remember Mondstadt from previous campaigns, but they did not do as much to their neighbors as Belobog did, and I'm so glad Belobog is not around. We don't need a third campaign where they rock the house. The traditions of Mondstadt are diplomatic reputation +2 and movement speed +15%. The first national idea is Dawn Winery. Army morale has been through the roof since we allowed troops a direct supply of Dawn's Winery's finest booze every day. Morale of armies +15%. Duck, are you sure they're not drunk half the time? Are we sure? The second national idea is Barbara, the diaconess. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Feeling down, Barbara's songs can mend even the most broken of spirits. Army morale recovery speed +10%. And it should be noted, Mondstadt has Frankfurt, the center of trade, so Mondstadt is going to be doing very well from the get-go. The next submission is over here, and it is called Sumeru. The traditions of Sumeru are tech cost -5% and idea cost -10%. The first national idea is the Heremites. A weird bunch of people, but they're half of our nation. Maybe we can get them to cooperate through payment. We should ask Dehya to mediate. Mercenary discipline +5%. The second national idea is the Akasha and the Armensuru. The Akasha terminals are invaluable to pass information between people instantly. Just make sure you don't share anything sus. The Archon is listening. Spy network construction +30%. And Sumeru is also in the very valuable Gangetic Plain, capital in Delhi. They have the Central Doab, they have Etwa, and they have Kora. So there's a lot of really good development land up here that Sumeru will be able to make use of. The next submission from Duck is the United States of Caddo. Yes, Caddo returns once more, this time reformed and maybe better than last time. The traditions of the United States of Caddo are merchants +1 and female advisor chance +10%. The first national idea is all states loyalty equilibrium +10%. The second national idea is morale of armies +15%. And the third national idea is national unrest -1.5. So, unlike last time, there is no Vicura over in Central America to compete with the United States of Caddo. This time it is Teotl, Colima, and Cocomes. So we will see how Caddo does against their up-and-coming rivals. Hey, maybe even Apache goes after Caddo, or vice versa. Caddo goes after Apache. Not entirely sure. Next submissions are from a newcomer. It is Scotty. Yes, Scotty has joined the fray full force and has given us 3 submissions, if I do recall. 3 submissions? Yes, 3 submissions. The first submission right here is Shuravia. Oh boy, this is going to be tough. The traditions of Shuravia are fort defense +15% and regiment cost -20%. The first national idea is, oh dear God, Samodrjavie. Samodrjavie? I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that at all correctly. Unlike in Western feudal systems, the Chernigovian model of governance brings stability to our lands through unity, pride, or force. Our czars will lead us to prosperity. I also thought I changed that. I really thought I changed that. Maybe I didn't save the file correctly. The second national idea is uniting the Rus. That they said we were doomed to be enslaved by conquerors. They said we could never live in one nation together. They said our lands will always be wild and untamed. But no! Today, all of the Rus lives under one flag. The flag of Shuravia. Governing capacity modifier plus 30%. And Shuravia has a lot of room to grow. Their closest neighbors are Bulgaria, Astrakhan, Kazan, and Finland. So... Oh, and the Teutonic Order. So there's a lot of room to grow. And, I'll make a note of this right now, colonization speed is pretty fast, too. The base is 75 at Tech 1, 75 settlers per year, goes up by 25 at Tech 3, 4, and 5. So by the time they reach Tech 5, they will have over 100 settlers per year in their colonies. So it should be pretty fast. The next submission from Scotty is over here, Scottish China? What is Scottish China? What is this? The traditions of Scottish China are yearly army tradition plus 0.5 and yearly legitimacy plus 1. The first national idea is victory for the hammer and sickle. The workers victorious, the bourgeois defeated. Even though our state focuses on a system of class cooperation and maintains the existence of societal classes, it emphasizes the importance and work of the common folk. All the state influence modifier minus 10%. The second national idea is benevolent rule. Even though our rule may be authoritarian by nature and does not allow for our people to choose their leaders and direction of the country, it still ensures that everyone has their freedoms unharmed and can live as they please. National unrest, minus 1. So Scottish China, they will struggle with allies, I think, just because they are Hussite in a realm of Eastern religions such as Confucian and Shinto, and Tengri up here. We'll see how that goes. Let's see. Oh, and they also have Niv over here. They are also Tengri. The last submission from Scotty is over here. I think it's based on Red Dawn, he said. So, the traditions here are infantry combat ability plus 10% and reinforce cost minus 10%. The first national idea is breaking the chains. The American people, long enslaved by the bourgeois overlords and the capitalist regime, are now finally getting a taste of class justice and freedom. Unlike their nationalist cause, our revolutionary ideals will make sure they flock to our side. Native assimilation plus 60%. The second national idea is the revolution marches on. The fears of our enemies and the dreams of our founders have come true. The revolution has come to the bastion of the bourgeois, America. From this base, the specter no longer haunts Europe, but the world. Aggressive expansion impact minus 15%. And that will be, well, I mean, they have a lot of room to expand here, but immediately they're going to run into the APLA, and, you know, one is Orthodox, one is Catholic, going to turn Protestant, so there's probably going to be conflict over here, if I had to suspect. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens between these two, and I do believe we are just about done with submissions. I don't think I really missed anyone. We have all of our vanilla tags in place. Sofala, Mogadishu, Kandi, Malacca, Banten. All of the submission or the vanilla tags chosen by winners from last campaign. I'll just go over those real quick. Niv over here and Chukchi were chosen by Maki. Oda, Mori, Hojo were all chosen by Akamatsu. Japan was chosen by Virivi. The Timurids were chosen by Kravens. And Lana was chosen by Q9626. So, yeah. The game is all set. The campaign is ready to go. The next time you see me upload after this should very well be part 1. What happens in part 1, I have no idea. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping you are looking forward to it as well. That'll be all for now. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you when the campaign begins.